What's going on, everybody? My name is Monotui, coach of the Tampa Bay Luxrays, and today I'm bringing you guys our PPL Division 1 Season 4 Week 5 match versus Jack, aka the Don Fanatic, coach of the Norwich Skitty. If you've not done so already, please check out his channel in the description below. He is actually the founder of the Pokemon Premier League. He has been in it since Season 1, obviously, since he founded it and whatnot, and he has improved his battling skills and continues to improve his skills to this very day. So, like I said, definitely check him out. For a quick rundown, even though I do have an entire team builder dedicated to my team, we have our 4 attacks, Life Orb, Thundurus, we have our Rocky Helmet, 3 Hazards, Fortress, we have our specially offensive Agility Mega Altaria, we have our speedy offensive Colberberry Jellicent, we have our physically defensive Calm Mind Colberberry Mew, and we have our really weird Assault Vest Skuntank, which is actually not going to be as useful as I thought, because very, very surprisingly to me, Jack decided to not bring his Heliolisk, which I was just amazed about. Like I said, my team builder, that was probably the biggest threat to my team. Normal electric coverage does really, really well. Nothing really wants to switch in on those 2 attacks. Even if I brought Piloswine for an electric community, he has Grass Knot and Focus Blast to deal with it, plus his team matched up relatively well against it anyway. So very, very surprised, pleasantly surprised, granted. I'm very happy to not see it, but the 6 that Jack decided to bring are the Crawdaunt, Arcanine, Metagross, Aromatisse, Mega Gallade, and Donphan. So a pretty offensive team, even though he does have bulk in like Arcanine, Metagross, Aromatisse, Donphan. They all hit relatively hard. Even Gallade's relatively bulky, especially on the special side. So it's definitely, he's got a very bulky offensive team with him today with Wish support, Cleric support, Recovery, things like that. So it's going to be kind of hard to break through, but I do have my plan to go against it. Hazard Stack is going to be very nice, Stealth Rock, T-Spikes especially, if I can get up a Spike as well, that's going to be really nice. And seeing that his hazard removal is Donphan, which I do have a Spin Blocker for, I'm going to just lead immediately with my Fortress to start getting up Hazard. So that's exactly what I decide to lead with, as he leads with his Arcanine. I can take a Flare Blitz due to Sturdy, obviously, and he'd have Rocky Helmet put onto him, he'd have the Flare Blitz recoil, and I'm totally okay with that. So I'm going to stay in and just get at my Stealth Rocks as he decides to go for the Will-O-Wisp. And on the following turn, he makes a very good play and goes for the Will-O-Wisp, predicting my switch out. And the next turn here is a very interesting one. I'm going to outspeed him because of my speed investment, which is really, really nice. And he's going to end up going for the Snarl, which I thought was very interesting. But this makes a lot of sense, because suppose I were a bulky Jellicent. He is a bulky Arcanine. If I were bulkier, I would be doing about 50% with Scald, maybe a little bit less, but him hitting me with Snarl means that I would not be able to 2-KO him whatsoever, and since he burnt me, he would be able to beat me 1v1, or just get a free switch out into whatever else, because Scald at -1 or minus whatever you got me to would not be doing a lot of damage. Granted, he'd be risking a burn on something, but Aromatisse is Heal Bell, so it's not the biggest problem for him. So that was very good prep on his part. However, my counter good prep with a speedy offensive Jellicent really helps this out, because he will not be able to beat me with this. Even though I'm at -1 special attack, I should still be able to knock him out with the Scald on the following turn. Obviously he can't E-Speed me, and I will be able to knock him out on the following turn. He can't really do much about it, so he's got to switch out. Also, unfortunately, the Snarl pops my Colberberry, but it is what it is. We did weaken the Arcanine, which is really, really good for me. He's going to switch in his Aromatisse. I do unfortunately crit him, which I don't think mattered too much in the end, but once again, it just is a little bit unfortunate. Didn't get the burn, but here, I'm going to send in my Fortress, expecting him to either Wish or go right for the Moonblast, just attacking me, as he passes that Wish into his Donphan, which I'm okay with, because this Donphan was at full health anyway. He's going to have his Sturdy intact, but I'll be able to set up a T-Spike on the switch-in, and then I make, in my opinion, another very good play. I go out into Altaria, knowing that he's not going to Rapid Spin because I have a Jellicent in the back that can obviously block his Rapid Spin. So I predicted either an Earthquake or a knockoff on that turn, as he does go right for the Earthquake, meaning that my Altaria will be able to dodge that, obviously. And then on this turn, since he thinks I might be physical and he can take this on relatively well, I'm going to pull a double out into my Jellicent in order to block that Rapid Spin, and I am able to call that perfectly. He goes for the Rapid Spin, will not be able to get it off, of course, and now something has to come in, take Hazards, and take a Scald, and he opts for that to be his Aromatisse. So as you're going to see, actually I go for the Recover, because I can, with the Recover, I can switch into Donphan one more time, which is nice. And on this turn, I can go for the Hex, which will not do enough to knock him out on the following turn because he has the Aromatherapy, meaning that Hex is no longer boosted and I will not be able to knock it out. So here, I really thought he would go for a wish or attack and not protect because I thought the switch on my end was very obvious. But he decides to go for the protect here in order to block that Scald. And now, because I'm pretty sure he's going to go for a wish in order to keep this thing healthy, I'm going to go out into my Thunders, which threatens his entire team. Oh god, what have I done? Sorry. Gonna just... Yep, okay, we're right here. Where am I? Here. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm going to go out into Thunders as he throws up a wish. Now, Aromatisse, he's in a little bit of a pickle here because he can either protect in order to heal himself up as I go for an attack, or he can switch out and try and pass this thing to something else. If he passes this to anything, whatever he passes it into other than Metagross will be poisoned, it will be taking a lot of hazards damage, and there's only a couple things he can pass into. He can pass into Donphan because he can take any hit bar Grass Knot. He can pass into Gallade because he can take it. I don't think that's a good idea on his part, but he can. Or he can pass into Metagross, which should be able to take any hit. Or he can protect and get this thing back to full health, but if he does that, he still has the problem of trying to switch into my Thunder. So I'm okay with either situation, anything that he decides to do, but instead of doing either of those, he makes a little bit of a misplay, and he actually decides to attack me instead of going for the protect and blocking my attack, meaning that we will be able to knock out his Aromatisse, not only getting rid of a pretty big annoyance to my team, but also making his wish completely useless, because obviously it didn't get past anything. So on this turn, he's going to send out his Mega Gallade. It can take any one hit from my Thunder, so I'm going to switch out into my Rocky Helmet Fortress, get a little bit of chip damage off on whatever attack he decides to go to, as he actually decides to go out into his Donphan, which is a very good play on his part. And he's going to follow that up with another pretty good play, as he knows I'm going to switch out into my Jellicent. Instead of trying to just get rid of my Jellicent, he's going to end up getting up his own Stealth Rock, which is good because Stealth Rock do threaten my team a bit. It was a good middle play in case I did decide to stay in and attack him. But regardless, I'm going to go for the Scald on the incoming Gallade, as that does not do a lot of damage, but with the poison racking up, he is being pressured heavily. It is nearly a dead Gallade, which is very nice for me. And I'm going to switch into my Fortress to take the knockoff, as he actually reveals Night Slash. Not sure why I had Night Slash over knockoff. Maybe because he expected me to have Cobra Berry, and Night Slash does a little bit more than knockoff when you're Cobra Berry, but Fortress is going to do a good job picking off this Mega Gallade with the Rocky Helmet damage, which is really nice in combination with the poison, because the fastest thing on his team, and one of the bigger threats to my team, is now gone. Here, he's going to go into Donphan as I switch in my Altaria, and I wasn't sure if Hyper Voice killed from that range. It depended on his investment, so I didn't want to risk it. I'd rather just get a little bit more poison damage off onto him, as he went for the Rapid Spin. Best overall play, because if I did sack my Jellicent like I did, I of course went down to the burn, so he had no reason to not make that play. However, now that he is at this amount of HP, he's poisoned, I'm going to go out into my Thundurus, and I think he either predicted me to not have Grass Knot, or predicted me to overpredict and go for Thunderbolt, expecting his Metagross to come in. I just go for Grass Knot and pick off his Donphan, so his hazard removal is gone. He's now going to send in his Arcanine, going to give me the useless Defiant boost, and I knew E-Speed wouldn't be able to knock me out because he was leftovers and not any boosting item, but he decides to not even go for it. I'm not even sure if he had it. He might have just wanted to rack up a little bit more Life Orb damage onto me so that Crawdon had a guaranteed chance of knocking me out. If so, then that definitely makes sense, but he did not go for the E-Speed, so we were able to just get another free kill with Thundurus. On this play here, I could have gone out into Altaria to take the Aqua Jet, but Altaria is a pretty big win condition at this point, being able to hit both of my opponent's Pokemon, so I didn't want to risk that. And if he did go for something like a Dragon Dance, that could have been really bad for me. So I'm just going to stay in and allow him to Aqua Jet and knock out my Thundurus. He is also a Life Orb, and there are Toxic Spikes on the field, so he's getting whittled very quickly. And this allows me a free switch out into my Mega Altaria, and my best overall play is to Roost, just because no matter what he did, I would end up on the positive end of it. If he set up, I'd be able to take the hit on the following turn. If he switched out to Metagross like he did, I'd be at full health, could take a Bullet Punch easily. And with Altaria's natural bulk plus the HP investment I have, we're able to tank that Bullet Punch and nearly knock him out with that Fire Blast, as we were able to tank a second Bullet Punch and then just knock him out with a safe Hyper Voice. No reason to go for Fire Blast. Hyper Voice always killed from the 4% he was at or whatever. And here, once again, I could have pulled a switch out into my Mew, because I am physically defensive. Even if you predict that and went for the knockoff, I can take it with the Colbur Berry. I'd be able to take whatever he wanted to do. However, suppose he went for a Dragon Dance on this turn, expecting me to switch out into my Mew in order to save differential, and then he crit my Mew with Crab Hammer, which is a high crit move, then I would have more than likely lost the game, because at that point, Mew goes down. Altaria dies to Rocks on re-entry, so I don't get any extra poison damage from that. And then Skuntank's Aftermath is not able to knock him out from wherever he's at, or from where he's currently at. So, actually, it might have because it would have cost me go out into Mew. Maybe it would have worked out like that, but it wasn't worth it regardless. I'm just going to let my Mega Altaria go down to the Aqua Jet, as that is exactly what happened. So I could have went out into my Mew, picked him off with a Thunderbolt, saved a differential point, but regardless, what I did was the safer play. This ensures me the win 100%. So now I'm going to go out into my Mew, click Thunderbolt, knock out the Crawdaunt, and we are going to come out with a victory with a 2-0 win. Or we're going to come out of this game with a 2-0 victory over Jack of the Norwich Skitty. So a very good game, Jack. Definitely well prepped. The Snarl on Arcanine was very clever. I think I could definitely see him justifying that over Wild Charge. Made a lot of sense. Definitely, probably the only misplay I think he made was not protecting with his Aromatisse. I don't think there was a reason for him to do that, unless he was fearing me to be like a nasty plot set and going for it, predicting a protect. That's the only possible justification I could see, but regardless, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and next week we are going up against none other than George, aka SceptileMC of the San Francisco Arcanine, or someone we have a little bit of history with, a little bit of unfinished business with. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that, because I certainly am. But regardless, check out Jack in the description below, and have a nice day, everyone.